Hello, pre-concepts to your next lesson. Today's lesson is over stem and leaf plots and line plots. We're going to do them both together because they're very, very similar. You should have gotten 3 pages of notes, 1 blue, 1 gold, 1 purple. You need to cut all 3 of those pages out and glue them into your notebooks. I'm going to glue mine directly on the back, that way I'm not wasting any pages. So I'm just going to start cutting to trim up this up as much as possible. You can cut off the date and the name spot. That way, hopefully it'll fit. And then get some glue on it. And glue it down. So I did the blue page first, the one that says stem and leaf notes up at the top. Then I'm going to do the purple page next. Once it's cut, put glue on it. And glue it down. And then I have one more page, so I'm going to turn it. And I'm now going to cut the gold page out. Once again, you can cut the date and name part off. Put some glue on it. And glue it down. I'm then going to go back through and I'm going to date these. Today's date that we're taking these notes on is 8/30/19. If you guys are doing them on Saturday or Sunday, you can write those dates down if you would like, or you could just write the dates down that I am doing. So always make sure you are just writing down the date onto your pages. Okay, so we're going to start and we're going to jump into this. We're going to go into our blue notes. So I'm going to zoom in a little so we can see a little bit better. So first, let's talk about stem and leaf plots. You should have learned about stem and leaf plots back in 5th grade. Okay, so I'm going to have you guys... Hold on a second. I forgot to grab something. Alright, sorry about that. I wanted to grab some different colored pens in case I needed them. Okay, so let's first talk about the definition of a stem and leaf plot. It is a display that organizes data by place value. So here are your steps. We have steps 1. Oh, you totally couldn't even see that. I apologize. Here you go. Now you can see it. A display that organizes data by the place value. That is the definition of stem and leaf plots. I'll get better at taking these notes one day, guys. Okay, so here are the steps. There are a total of 6 of them. Okay, there are 2 sides to a stem and leaf plot. We have the left side and we have the right side. The left side of the plot is called the stem. So that's like your stem, that's your base. So what you need to do for step 2 is you need to write the values in the tens place and higher down the left side, meaning the numbers should be written from least to greatest. So we're going to go top to bottom, least to greatest, and you're only doing the tens place. Okay, then step 3, the number on the right side is what we call the leaves. So this is why it's called a stem and leaf plot. Left side stem, right side leaves. And this is the place from each piece of data. The leaves should be written from least to greatest as well. And then since this is a data display, you must be sure to include a key. You always need a key, and you must always do a title. Any type of data display needs a key and a title to go with it. Okay, so let's look at our first example. We'll use these steps to go with it. So here are our numbers for our first example, and we need to create a stem and leaf plot using these following test scores. So number 1, what numbers will go down the left side? You just need to pick the numbers that go down the left side. So if I look here, I have a 6 because you're only putting the numbers in the tens place. The 6 is in the tens place, so I'm going to have a 6. I'll have an 8. I'll have a 5. I'll have a 9. I'll have a 9, but I'm not going to write that 9 twice. I'm only writing it once. So then I have a 6. I already wrote that 6, so I don't write it again. Then I have a 7, so I'm going to write a 7. Then I have an 8. So I'm going to write 8. Then I have a 100. Well, the tens place is that 0, but we don't write a 0. We call that a 10. Okay, so you would put that whole thing in front. So now we're going to fill them in on the stem and leaf plot. Remember, they must go in order from least to greatest. So the smallest number is 5, then we have a 6, then we have a 7, an 8, a 9, and a 10. So that is our left side of the plot. That is how that comes about. You do the first number first, that tens column first. So now we need to fill in the right side of the plot. Don't forget to record the numbers in order from least to greatest. So I'm going to start at the top. I have a 5. Well, my 5 was 55, so I'm going to write a 5 down. I had no other 5s, so I don't need to worry about other numbers. I don't need to worry about least to greatest order. My next number is a 6. I had a 67 and I had a 63, so I have 2 numbers, which means I have to worry about the order from least to greatest. The smallest number is 63, so I'm going to write a 3 first. The next smallest number is 7, so I'm going to write a comma 7. Then I'm going to keep going. I have a 7, which is 75, so that's my only one, so I'm going to write a 5 down. Then I have an 8. Well, for 8, I had 80 and I had 86. The smallest number is 80, so I'm going to put a 0 first, and then I'm going to add a 6 with a comma between the 2. Look at the 9s, same thing. I had 2 9s. I have 90 and 92. The smallest one is 90, so I'm going to put a 0. The next smallest number is 92, so comma 2. Then I have 10, which was 100, so I need to add a 0 to make it 100. So that is how you fill in the stem and leaf plot. Now you need a title and you need a key. You can really do whatever you want for the title, but it needs to be whatever your numbers represent. So in this case, the numbers represent test scores, so our title should be test scores. It needs to be written around whatever the numbers represent. Then a key. This is how you write your key. We have a 5, this line here, and a 5. Then you see that 6 line 3, 6 line 7, 7 line 5, 8 line 0, 8 line 6, so forth and so on. So whenever you see this 5 line 5, that means 55. It's written like that every time. It'll never ever change. So you just need to memorize that that is how it is written. So that is how you make a stem and leaf plot. Now let's go to our purple page and talk about more how we read the data, because reading is just as important as being able to create it. So to interpret stem and leaf plots tell us the center of the data, where does the center fall, the spread of the data, which is the range, and the shape of the data. Is it evenly distributed or is it skewed to one side? Meaning, are there more numbers to the left or more numbers to the right? So here is the data that we are looking at. It is test scores from the latest math test. Our key means 5-4 is 54%. So here I have 5-4 is 54%. Then I have 56%. Then I have 59%. Then I have 60, 60 again, 66, 67, 68, and so forth and so on down this list. So they're asking us a bunch of questions that we just need to answer. Number 1, how many people scored scored exactly 85%? So we need to find 85. So I find the 8, and then I find the 5, and I count that there were 1, 2, 3. So there were 3 people that scored exactly 85%. Question 2 says, how many scored at least 60% but less than 80? So that means that I scored 60 or greater, but not an 80%. It has to be smaller than an 80. Okay, so I want 60 or more. So I go up to here, 60, so I can count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can count all the 70s because they are in between the two numbers we want. So we're at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then it says less than 80, so I cannot have any number in my 80s, which means my answer is 12. So number 3, what is the range of test scores? Well, we just learned about range. Range is the largest number minus the smallest number. So my largest number is 100 minus the smallest number, which is 54. And if I take 100 minus 54, I will get 46. So I have a range of 46 percentage points between my largest and my smallest. So which test scores occurred the most? Remember, that's another way to say what is the mode. So I just look. I want you guys to tell me what is the mode for that one. I'm going to let you guys do that one on your own. I think you guys can do number 5 on your own. What was the highest score? What was the, oops, sorry, you cannot see that. What was the highest score? What was the lowest score? Give me those answers. You guys can tell me those on your own. Then I want to know, did the majority of students do well or did they do poorly? Where did they line, well or poorly? And we'll talk about that one in class on Tuesday. How many students scored over 70%? Do the same thing we did up here. Count the number of students that scored over 70%. And then what was the median test score? Okay, this one's a little bit tricky. Okay, you do not need to rewrite all these numbers in order from least to greatest because it already is in order from least to greatest. So when you see a stem and leaf plot, you just need to count to get to the middle. Here I have 3, I have 3. Those are gone away. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I need to get rid of 10 from the bottom side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I would go 1, 2. Here I'd go 1, 2. Then I'd have 1, 1, 1, 1, and I'd end up with one number, which is 85. So my median is an 85. This is written in order from least to greatest, so use it in order from least to greatest. You guys need to do this bottom one on your own as well. You guys need to write down 2 questions of your own based on this specific stem and leaf plot. What 2 questions could you ask? And we'll discuss some of those questions and answers in class on Tuesday together. So answer those for me. Alright, last page of notes, and then we're done with notes, and we'll get to practice on Tuesday in class. We're going to talk about line plots now. Line plots are very similar to stem and leaf plots. It's just another way to look at your data. So a line plot is a graph that shows the frequency of the data along a number line. So I am using a number line to show how frequent, how often these numbers show up. Okay, so here is how we do it. You create a number line with the categories at the bottom. So here, for instance, the categories are colors. Another one, categories are numbers, or K for kindergarten in this case. It can be either one. You see a lot more with numbers than you do with words, but you can do both. So create that number line. In this case, it's created for you. Then you need to place X's above each response for the number of times it occurs. So if there were 6 responses, you would need 6 X's. So here we go. Create a line plot using the survey data in this table. Your line plot, guys, should look like this one, using these numbers and X's over here. So I want everyone to do that one for me, because honestly, I think you guys have got it, and I don't need to tell you how to make X's above each number based on the numbers that you see here. Last is interpreting. Just like we interpret stem and leaf plots, we need to interpret our line plots. So a line plot shows here what grade children are in who are participating in art class. So we have kindergarten through 8th grade participating in art class. So you just answer the questions that it asks you. It says, how many students in the class are in 3rd grade? Well, we see 1, 2, 3, 4 X's. That means there are 4 students. So your answer is 4. And then it says, how many students are in grades 4 through 8? Well, here's 4th through 8th grade. I'm going to count up all of the X's in 4th through 8th grade. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Then these questions, guys, I'm going to have you answer them on your own, because I think you can do it. It says, are there more kindergartners in the class or 6th graders? Tell me right here. Number 4 says, how are more students in a higher grade than 4th or in a lower grade in 4th? Well, we just did higher, lower, so you need to tell me higher or lower. And then how many are in art class? How many are in art class? Tell me that number. So that is our notes for the day, guys. Stem and leaf plots and line plots are probably 2 of the easier topics that we will learn. The next 2 after this, they're not necessarily difficult, but they take a little bit more time than these 2 do. So we will practice this on Tuesday together in class to see how well we are understanding it. So finish these notes for homework. Make sure your ALEKS is done. Remember, it is due on Sunday at 11:59. And if you did not get your activity done from Friday, make sure your activity is done from Friday as well. I look forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.